Welcome to track 3. We have 5 presentations lined up for this technical session 3 on theme futuristic hydraulic and lubrication system. The third presenter of this session is Mr. Anshuman Agrawal from Minimac Systems Private Limited, India. He is going to present achieve reliability through reclamation. Over to you, sir.
Hi, I am Anshuman Agrawal, the founder and managing director at Minimac Systems Private Limited, Pune, India. I myself am a mechanical machinery graduate from IIT Dhanbad, and I also did a management graduation program for post-graduation from IIM Indore. I have recently completed my ICML1 MLT1 course certification, and I have taken up the MLE certification course from Nuria, USA. The topic of this presentation, achieve reliability through oil reclamation. We all know that maintenance expenditure for the equipment lubrication goes around 40%, and it has been found that 80% of equipment failures, they can be traced to poor lubrication. So for this presentation, we set up an objective that we have to achieve 25% increase in plant reliability by contamination control in the oils. For the Indian perspective, if we see the consumption of industrial lubricants, it has been found that around 31% of industrial lubes is consumed in steel sector and 10% each for mining, oil and gas and cement sectors, 21% for the power generation and transmission sectors, and rest constitutes around 10 to 20% of paper, plastics and other industries. Today, India is third largest lubricants market in the world, and India consumes around 6% of the total world lubricants. The size of the lubricant market stands at $1.35 billion in 2018, and it is projected to grow to $1.67 billion by 2023. Now let us segregate the lubricants consumption amongst various industrial sectors. So here we have the power generation sector, the steel and the metal sector, where we envisage around 2,400 crores Indian rupees being spent towards maintenance concerns. Out of these, around 180 crore is for the lubricant replacement. For steel and metal sectors as well, around 2,000 crores is envisaged towards maintenance expenditures due to improper lubrication. The total lubricant consumption is estimated to cross around 150 crore Indian rupees. The overall industrial segment of India, if considered together, it would cross somewhere around 15,000 crores in accumulative number. Let us understand reliability centered lubrication. There are three wings of reliability centered lubrication. One, lubrication selection, lubrication handling, oil analysis and contamination control. In this presentation, we will be focusing over the third wing, that is oil analysis and contamination control. It has been found that various improper maintenance practices lead to heavy expenditures in the plants and the reliability of various plant sectors. The chart shown on the slide out here gives you an indication that lube analysis is the first point of symptom how you can identify a potential failure in your equipment or machinery. We are very common to do vibrational analysis, infrared analysis, also ultrasonic analysis. But when it comes to lubricant analysis, a lot of plants miss out the opportunity of identifying the correct point of symptom where a potential failure can be identified. 40% breakup of the maintenance budget goes for lubrication related concerns. The red pie chart shows the total of lubrication concerns and expenditures which goes towards lubrication concerns. What are the effects of contamination in the oil? There are oxidation deteriorations, there is acid formation, there is aeration and cavitation. Oxidation leads to sludge formation, scuffing actions in your bearings, corrosion, and very hazard is varnish formation. It has been found that 70% or 80% of premature machine failures, they are attributed to contamination in oil. So contamination control strategies. We have various strategies for contamination control and oil reclamation. Let us understand what is reclamation, why do we require reclamation, and where do we require reclamation. So reclamation is restoring the new oil properties for an in-service lubricant. Why do we require it? We require it to extend the usefulness of lubricants, to increase the reliability of our machines, to save heavy breakdowns and maintenance expenditures, and more importantly, to reduce the carbon emission and environmental hazards and pollution. Where do we require reclamation? We require reclamation for almost every machine under the roof where lubrication is playing a role. Reclamation is already a activity which has been done by multiple plants and it is in practice. However, it has been found there are a lot of deviations from the definition of reclamation with the actual practices what the plants have been doing and performing in real life. Like reclamation means restoration of the in-service lube oil properties for a healthy system. However, mostly we get confused with the fact that reclamation will be required only for waste oil, which has already completed its useful life in a machinery. An oil analysis report is very important to make the decisions of reclamation. However, the real practices where oil analysis reports are taken up as formality and they are piled up in the files. Reclamation is a savings to company. Hence, people should not overlook it as an extra expenditure to their company. There are multiple factors which must be taken into consideration before you select the right vendors or contractors who are performing reclamation activity for you or who are supplying you equipment for lubricant reclamations. However, in the current practice, the L1 price basis only considering the lowest price is considered for selection of reclamation practices. Let's understand the application of lubricants and the associated challenges in the steel manufacturing plants. We have categorized the steel making process into three different classification areas: iron making, steel making, rolling and finishing. Under all these classifications, there are multiple plants, equipment, and application areas where lubricants play a very important role and have huge impact on the plant reliability and maintenance. It has been found that in the steel industry, huge quantities of lubricants are consumed. Lubricants can be of the type hydraulic oil, gear oil, mill circulating oil, greases, automotive fluids, metalworking fluids, turbine lube oils, compressor lube oils, and so on and so forth. The power generation sector also involves huge quantities of lubricants for critical areas and for lubrication segments. For example, there you have the control system or the governing system, which involves specialty lubricants called phosphate esters or fire resistant fluids. Then you have the coal mills of boiler department, where again you have high temperature, slower speed, high viscosity lubricants used for the gear oil applications. Reclamations. Reclamation can be on any oil. It can be on hydraulic oil, turbine oil, gear oil, any other oil which is used for lubrication or motion transmission purpose. Uh, Reclamation is through various technologies and techniques. Here we have some of them listed. Let us make a comparative note of all these techniques and technologies. So this chart will give you a clear indication on which technologies are applicable for what application of reclamation. For example, let me take you through some of these technologies which we know very well. The first two are mechanical filtration. Mechanical filtration means, as the name denotes, it means to separate solid particles only. The next in the lot is centrifugal separation. Centrifugal purifiers are very helpful in removing solid contamination and free water from the oil. However, there is a limitation when it comes to dissolved moisture content, acids, sludge, and varnish formation removal from the oil. Coalescer separation is also equally good as the centrifugal separation technique. However, it also has a similar limitation that it cannot remove dissolved content of moisture and it cannot remove sludge and varnish as well as acids from the oil or lubricant. Then we have in the lot dehydration systems, which are vacuum based. These systems have proven very good for removal of all three forms of moisture, that is dissolved, emulsified, and free form. We have the electrostatic separation technique, which is very good in removal of fine particles from the oil. However, it is not implemented whenever there is a need for removal of free water or any other form of water. Rather, this technology fails to work whenever there is traces of moisture in oil to the level of 200 to 300 ppm even. There is a new technology in the market known as ion exchange treatment, which is very applicable for removal of acid content, varnish from the oil, and the most important fact, that is inert gas blanketing. Inert gas blanketing is very essential for areas which have humid air in the environment, because inert gas blanketing, when carried out for a particular lubricant tank, it can ensure that there is no humidity exchange between the air and the lubricant inside the tank. So this is about the reclamation technologies. Uh, Oil condition monitoring. Condition monitoring is a very important aspect for any lubrication program. There are multiple tests which can be performed on a lubricant. However, there is a certain frequency which one needs to follow. At the same time, you need to have proper benchmark or threshold values for all these parameters. And these parameters or threshold values would depend upon the machinery or lubricant application that you are using in your plant. Hence, if someone is using a particular threshold value for his condition monitoring program in a steel plant, it's not very important that the same values will be applicable for a power plant. It depends sheerly on the application area, on the machinery for which you are doing the lubrication. There is an important maintenance culture which needs to be brought in, which will call for vibrational analysis, infrared thermography, oil analysis, ultrasound, and acoustic emissions. Nowadays, IoT devices have come in which would gather all these plant data and take into the cloud for proper referencing in future and trend monitoring programs. The reclamation of lubricants can extend the oil life. It can increase your machine reliability, reduce environmental contamination. It has a lot of cost saving on oil replacements. Your time and effort and maintenance budgets will decrease because of the oil changes. There would be lesser waste disposal, low carbon emission, and a sustained development in your plant. Hence, there is a huge economic justification of reclamation, wherein you are saving multiple costs of your maintenance budget and thereby achieving your targets of cost reduction or cost optimization. There is a certain case study which we can understand. We studied this for a particular power plant in India, which has got Indo-Japanese technology for the turbine EHC system, where the cost of oil replacement is around 44 lakh Indian rupees. Cost of downtime is around 1.05 crore for a 15-hour downtime. The cost incurred for oil reclamation was only 2 lakh rupees. And there is a chart, a trend chart, which has been shown down here, where the TAN values or the acidity content of the lubricant has been brought down. The moisture levels as well have been kept below the permissible limits over the end of the reclamation activity. What Minimac does? So Minimac is an organization which does a lot of activities towards products and services in the field of lubrication reliability. There are multiple products and services which we deal in, like the oil purification systems, flushing systems, filtration housings and skids, filter replacements, testing and control and monitoring devices for your lubricants. There are a lot of services which can be stitched around these products and requirements. There are multiple customers and sectors where the company is operative. That's all from my side. Thank you so much for being a patient audience. I would be happy to help you with your questions. You could please post your queries over the chat box. And based on my experience on the topic lubrication reliability, I would be happy to help you out with my answers and sharing my experience with you. Thank you so much.